Hello, beloved tribe. I wanted to jump in here today. Today is the first day that we are doing our impromptu guerrilla style market day. It's called #Sacred Service. And I wanted to just jump in and just let you know about my offer today, because I feel like this has sort of been, since this, astro weather is epic and the Lion's Gate is open, and I don't claim to know what any of that means, except for it's put an absolute bee in my bonnet. And whenever that happens, you know that my temptation and what I tend to do is go live with you guys, because I kind of want to call something out here, that idea that, first of all, changing things up in this group has been a big part of that this group is a place where I want you to feel like there is genuine engagement, genuine interaction, a genuine place for your soul to be nourished and nurtured. So taking out the promo day was a big part of that, because making that a regular part of the week, I was just noticing that, of course, there were people who were just turning up on promo day, and that's okay. You've got stuff you want to share with us. But service, your sacred service, goes so far beyond what it is that you do. It's how you show up in the world. And that's what I really want to talk about. I really want to talk about this idea that is my personal mission of living spiritually fierce, and that idea of going beyond the trinkets and superstitions. How do we move beyond putting our power outside of ourselves? And I think that's really, becoming clearer and clearer to me, that the only work that I want to be committing to is showing you that you are the power. You are the source of life itself. You are the very consciousness of which the universe, the cosmos, was created. And yet everything in our lives that is out of balance, our health, our mental health, our relationships, our finances, anywhere we look around our life and we are feeling limited or broken, is simply a message. It's just really good information. It's the benevolent universe serving your awakening, showing you that somewhere in there you're incongruent. Caroline Myss talks about this idea as conscience versus consciousness. So where are you out of alignment with your conscience? Excuse me. And every time, there is an imbalance that I see in others or in myself, it's absolutely that simple. Somewhere I am incongruent. Somewhere I am out of alignment with my conscience. But here's the thing. As spiritual seekers, we are lying to ourselves all of the time when we pretend that we are limited human consciousness. Okay? Do you get that? So our incongruence, or our working against our own conscience, is that we are pretending to be small and limited. We are pretending that we are stuck in a world of suffering that we have no choice about. And we're lying to ourselves. We are working against our own conscience. So yes, consciousness raising is what I am all about, and what spiritual seeking is all about. But we must begin with, where am I pretending that I am limited and trying to get away with it? Where am I seeking approval for my limitations? Where am I trying to put my power outside of myself and get away with that? And when we're able to notice that it's not, where am I not, everywhere we're lying to ourselves is a problem. Staying in a relationship we're not happy in, staying in a job we don't like because we don't know what the alternative is. These are all the little lies we tell ourselves to get ourselves through the day. But the big lie that we as spiritual seekers are telling ourselves, excuse me while I clear my throat chakra, is that we are not God. So we're lying to ourselves by playing small. Now, when I say playing small, I'm not talking about your impact on the world through your job. I'm not talking about how much money you have in your bank. I'm talking about how willing you are to line up with your infinite nature and live from that place. And yes, that is going to require spiritual fierceness. It's going to require spiritual fierceness by the bucket load. Every time you do anything that is indulging your limited self, you are playing small. So every time you know, you eat something that you know your body is saying, don't eat that. That's not what you want to be eating. And you do it anyway, and you say, oh, that's because, you know, I've had a really bad day, or my kids are shitting me, or, you know, I'm tired, and blah, 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 blah. You're lying to yourself. You are saying, I am limited, small, finite, human, separate, alone. God does not have my back. I have to do this all by myself. And that is the biggest lie that we are telling ourselves as spiritual seekers. We are looking for comforts. We are looking for the trinkets and superstitions to indulge our limited consciousness. And if this Lionsgate is doing anything, it is showing me that we do not have that luxury. You know, my favorite spiritual text, and I reference it all the time, is the movie The Matrix. And the reason why that is so powerful, because story is such a powerful way to share, is, you know, that image of the character, Cassandra would be able to tell me, she just watched it recently, who betrays, you know, the tribe. He chooses the steak and the wine, even though he knows it's an illusion. He goes back into the world, and of course it doesn't go very well for him, but he was enlightened and he couldn't handle that enlightenment. He wanted to go back to the trinkets, the comforts of being human. He wanted to eat the steak and drink the wine, even though it was only a holographic projection. And we are in the same place, my darlings. We are not able, having awoken this far and being lovingly supported by the infinite now to accelerate that awakening. We do not get to go back. We do not get to go back. And I am here shaking the spiritual tree. I am here saying, you know, you have a responsibility to forego your limits. And that is the righteous path. That path is going to mean that all those places where you're looking outside of yourself to find the answer is not going to cut it anymore. The more that we awaken collectively, the more that our vibration rises, the more immediate our karma is. So the second that you make a choice from fear, you're going to notice that your karma is instant, that things go into chaos really quickly for you. Now, don't turn around and say, God's forsaken me. Do not. Look at it as evidence of how powerful you are. You are awake, and you are raising consciousness for all of us. I say this again and again and again to my students. You do not need 7 billion people to wake up in order to see the whole planet wake up. We need to be the tipping point. We simply need to commit to our own fearlessness. And here's the thing about this conscience that Caroline Myss is talking about. The places that you're lying to yourself are not here at the level of the reasoning conscious mind. On the surface, you think, well, I'm doing a spiritual job, I'm showing up in my meditation practices, I'm doing my yoga, I'm drinking my green smoothies, I'm really enlightened or awakening. The place that we're lying to ourselves is in that subconscious basement. And you cannot access your subconscious mind, which is actually just an aspect of if you think about consciousness as your subtle anatomy, it's your energy field surrounding your physicality. It's not actually in your mind. When we're talking about the subconscious mind as a spiritual concept, it's all of you, and primarily it sits in front of your heart chakra. So not to go too deeply into this, but effectively where there is fear, you are blocking your heart chakra, which is the communication portal with the one mind, because you haven't met that fear. You cannot meet that fear in ordinary states of consciousness. This is why our meditation practices, this is why our practices of contemplation and reflection, this is why silence and stillness are vital to our awakening. They're not things that we do to earn credit with God. They are literally the place that we go to access our unmet fear. So when Caroline Myss says you are lying to yourself and you're living outside of your conscience, it's the contents of that subconscious unmet fear that is causing that rupture or that incongruence between head and heart. You must be willing to go into these practices, not as a kind of way to get more ticks on the chart, but as the place where you unlimit yourself from the fear belief that you are alone on this journey, that you are finite and separate. Anytime, and if you take nothing else away from my rant today, listen to this. Anytime there is a deficit, anytime you do not have enough of what you need to thrive, whether that's love, whether that's companionship, whether that's money, whether that's success, whether that's whatever it is that you feel is lacking, you have shut God out. Okay? You have said to God, no. You have shut down the infinite, trying desperately to reach you, to support you, because here is the thing. The infinite is infinite. There is enough for everyone. There is more than enough. And the more that you have, the more that I have. You having doesn't take away from the person next to you. You living in a deficit causes more of that deficit fear mentality for everybody else around you. So whenever there is not enough in your life, look to, where have I shut God out? You know, the ego, by its definition, is where you have separated yourself from infinite consciousness. Your ego is saying, no, you are not that. Where have you separated yourself from God and then wondered why you're starting to live in a famine? You know, the world that we inhabit is a projection of our consciousness. Our consciousness is God. There is no lack. There is no lack. And there is no need for anybody on this planet, especially those of us committed to awakening, to be living in a state of lack of any kind. So I invite you today to look to where you are out of congruence with your conscience. Where are you trying to hold on to your limited ego self and claiming that as some part of your spiritual awakening? It simply is not true. Where there is fear, there is not love. Nothing real can be threatened. You know, this is A Course in Miracles. All there is love. And if you are not living in a state of grace, something has gone wrong. And that something is your belief that you are separate from God. And that simply isn't true. So today I invite you to look, where have I separated myself from God? God is there. The infinite is there. Whatever language you want to put around it, bowing down to you. I want to remind you that there are laws that govern the cosmos. And until you understand these laws and live from these laws, life will feel like it is betraying you. Life will feel like it's betraying you. So Jess, beautiful question. So excited. As this is my sacred service pitch today, I am running a free webinar on living spiritually fierce. It is all about spiritually fierce is, as we know from our vow, it is choosing love over fear. That means I have to choose love even when every single part, every fiber of my being is saying, no, I am broken, I am small, I am limited, I need to just go and lie on a crystal bed somewhere, or, you know, burn some incense or drink my green smoothie. These are the trinkets and superstitions. They might get you there. There are many, many paths to God. But unless they are actually evolving you, moving you further along this journey of consciousness awakening, if they're just indulging your fear, if they're just the steak and the red wine of the illusion, then they are not working for you. You know, I'm gonna share the link for this webinar, this free webinar. It's my first webinar in a year and I'm very excited. It's happening on the 22nd of August. Living spiritually fierce is the answer. You know, there is only this truth that if what you are engaging in, if your practices, if the modality that you deliver, if the modality that you're paying money for is taking you further, closer to the truth that you are the power, you are God, then by all means go and do it. Shout it from the rooftops. But there is no one way to God. There is no one way to God except for this. Meet your fear every damn day, because your fear is trying to tell you that you are small and limited and finite and separate, and by God, you are not. You are not broken. Nothing went wrong. You are infinite consciousness. You are that which made the cosmos. You are God. And anytime you don't believe that, something has gone wrong and you need to go meet that fear. Go meet that fear, because that is limiting you. That is all that is limiting you, is an illusion. It doesn't really exist. Thank God your fear is not real. Your unlimited self is. Every time you feel fear, you have forgotten your true nature, and that's your one job. Do whatever gets you there. I do not care what it is. Do whatever gets you closer to remembering your truth, but do it every damn day. And if you notice that the modality that you're investing in or the practices you're engaging in are simply keeping you standing still, keeping you wedded to your fear, providing indulgences for that fear, providing scaffolding for that fear, then you need to stop and you need to reassess. You know, everything you need is inside of you. You are that. And I feel like I've repeated that message enough. So I'm going to share the link for my webinar. I'm so excited. First webinar in a whole year. I cannot believe that has happened. And it's called Living Spiritually Fierce. And, you know, as I say, I don't care what you do for a living. What I want to know is, are you getting closer to the truth that you are unlimited consciousness? And if there is a deficit anywhere in your life, then this is what you need to be meeting. That is a problem. Okay? Yay! Love getting to get ranty with you on this Thursday morning. The wind is up in Melbourne. The lion is everywhere. Everything is open. The moon was full. Oh my goodness. Everything is just supporting us to awaken. What a freaking blessing. And what I'm going to ask you to do today, every single person, I want you to find some music and I want you to dance, because we need to shake things up, literally. We need to raise our vibration. You have that choice right now. I don't care what's happening in your life today. You have the power to change the vibration that you're rocking. And dancing and music are really good ways to do that. So that's my invitation to you today. And if you want to share your video, please do. Have the best day ever.